History could have looked very different if one man had been small, frail, or fearful. But he wasn't. He stood 6'2", more than 200 pounds, a giant in a world of average men. 9 diseases, Indian snipers, and British cannon fire all tried to stop him. None could. Some called him fearless. Others said Providence simply refused to let him fall. Through fever and frostbite, through dysentery and malaria, he kept moving forward. In an age when those illnesses ended lives, he treated them as inconveniences. Even while fighting infection, he sat straighter in the saddle, pain forcing him taller. He wasn't chasing glory. He was proving that endurance is a choice. July 9th, 1755. Near the forks of the Ohio River, during the French and Indian War. A British column led by General Edward Braddock marched into a trap. Muskets flashed from the tree line. Within minutes, the redcoats were breaking, officers dropping one after another, except one. A young colonial aide galloped through the chaos, delivering orders, rallying troops, the only officer still on horseback. He seemed untouchable. When the smoke cleared, 2 of his horses lay dead beneath him. 4 musket balls had pierced his coat. He wrote home that he had been protected beyond all human probability. Even hardened soldiers whispered that something or someone was shielding him. Strength alone couldn't explain it. Integrity, courage, and faith might. 15 years later, that miracle found its echo. An aging Native American chief traveled miles to meet the tall officer he had once fought. "Our rifles knew not how to miss," the chief said, "but they could not touch you. The Great Spirit protects that man. He will become the chief of nations." It was half prophecy, half confession, and it came true. Years passed, empires shifted, a rebellion sparked across the colonies. Once again, the people turned to the same man. He accepted command, not for fame, but for duty. When the tide finally turned and independence was won, they hailed him as the savior of a new nation. The war was won. The people turned to their hero and asked him to rule. Some whispered the word king. He could have taken the crown and no one would have stopped him. But he did something almost no leader in history had ever done. He walked away. Power was in his hands. Humility was in his heart. Years later, when that fragile nation needed a president, they begged him to serve again. He answered the call, led with patience, principle, and integrity, and after 2 terms, he did it again. He stepped down. No coups, no dynasty, no crown, just a farewell and a return to the quiet fields of Mount Vernon. Twice he proved that integrity is stronger than ambition. He went home to his farm, trading command for contentment. The world watched in awe. Kings ruled by might. He ruled by example. The republic he built still calls him the father of our country. Not for how he conquered others, but for how he conquered himself. The integrity was real. The story is true. And the person who showed us the way was George Washington, the first president of the United States and the father of our country.